Imagine this: the smell of roasted turkey and cinnamon candles filling the house, laughter bouncing off the walls, plates clinking, kids running around with sticky fingers from pumpkin pie, and then, in one single second, everything stops. My sister Sarah looks straight at me across the beautifully set Thanksgiving table, tilts her head with that little smirk she's perfected over the years, and says, loud enough for every single person to hear, "So, Emily, still single? Wow. Don't you ever get lonely in that big apartment all by yourself?" The room goes dead quiet. Forks freeze halfway to mouths. My mom tries to laugh it off. My dad clears his throat, but Sarah keeps going, swirling her wine like she's on stage. I mean, come on, you're not getting any younger. There's got to be somebody out there, right? I feel every pair of eyes land on me. My cheeks burn. For years, I've swallowed her little digs, smiled through every backhanded comment, every joking reminder that I'm the sister who never settled down. But tonight, something inside me snaps. Not loud, not angry, just cold, clear certainty. I set my fork down, look her dead in the eye, and say very calmly, "Actually, Sarah, there's a very good reason I'm still single, and it has everything to do with you." You could have heard a pin drop. That one sentence was the match. What happened next turned our perfect family Thanksgiving into the night every secret we'd ever buried came spilling out onto the tablecloth like gravy no one could clean up. My name is Emily, and this is the story I've never told anyone out loud until that night. It's a story about sisters, about betrayal that started small and snowballed for 15 years, about the quiet kind of revenge that doesn't scream. It just exposes the truth and watches everything change. Let me take you back to where it all began. Sarah and I grew up in a little yellow house on Maple Street. Same bedroom, same bunk bed. I always took the bottom because she was scared of falling. We shared clothes, secrets, dreams. She was the loud, bright firework. I was the steady glow of the porch light. Everyone said we were inseparable. In high school, I had the biggest crush on a boy named Alex. Shy, artistic, wore band t-shirts, and always smelled like pencil shavings. I told Sarah everything. How my stomach flipped when he smiled, how I was going to ask him to prom. She hugged me and said, "You'd be perfect together. Go for it." A week later, I walked into the cafeteria and saw them holding hands. Sarah giggled when she saw me watching. "Oh my gosh, Em, it just happened. He asked me out of nowhere. You're not mad, are you?" I smiled until my face hurt and told her of course I wasn't mad. Sisters share everything, right? I wish I could say that was the only time, but it wasn't. Fast forward to college. I finally thought I'd found the real thing. Jake. Art major, soft voice, painted murals on abandoned buildings for fun. We talked about backpacking Europe after graduation, opening a little studio together someday. Sarah came to visit one weekend, met Jake, told me we were the cutest couple she'd ever seen. 3 weeks later, Jake stopped returning my texts. When I finally cornered him, he looked at the floor and said, "Emily, you're amazing, but I think we want different things. You're so focused on your career. I don't want to hold you back." I didn't find out until years later. Sarah had pulled him aside that weekend and told him exactly that. I was too ambitious, too independent. I'd never make time for a real relationship. She told him he deserved someone who would put him first. And then, of course, she was right there to be that someone. Again, I forgave her. She cried, said she was only trying to protect me from getting hurt. I believed her because she was my sister. That pattern repeated like a heartbeat. Anything good in my life, Sarah found a way to touch it, dim it, or take it. A promotion I was excited about. She'd announce her pregnancy the same week, so no one asked me details. A guy I was dating. She'd flirt just enough to make him question whether the quiet sister was really the one he wanted. But the real betrayal, the one that broke something inside me that never quite healed, happened after Sarah married Mark. Mark was everything you'd want in a brother-in-law. Kind, funny, steady. He and I got close the way in-laws sometimes do. He'd ask my opinion on birthday gifts for Sarah, help me fix my laptop, text me memes when work stressed me out. One night, about 2 years into their marriage, my phone rang at 1 a.m. It was Mark, voice shaking. "Emily, I need to talk to someone who won't judge me. Sarah's been cheating." He told me everything. Late nights that weren't book club meetings, passwords he'd guessed, hotel receipts, and the name that made my blood turn to ice. Jake. My Jake. Turns out, Sarah had never let him go. She'd kept him on a string the whole time, meeting up whenever married life felt boring. And sometimes, here's the part that still makes my chest tight, she used me as her alibi. Girls' night with Emily, she'd tell Mark, then drive 3 hours to meet Jake while I sat home alone watching Netflix, having no idea my name was being used to cover her lies. Mark begged me not to say anything. He wanted to try to save the marriage for the kids, so I zipped my lips and swallowed the rage. But from that night on, dating felt pointless. How do you trust someone new when the person who's supposed to love you most has shown you exactly how easily love can be weaponized? I built a beautiful life anyway. Great apartment, amazing friends, a career that took me to Paris and Tokyo for design conferences. But every Thanksgiving, every Christmas, Sarah would look at my empty chair beside me and make the same little joke. Still single. Must be nice having no one to answer to. Don't you want kids someday? And every year I just smiled. Until this year. The weeks leading up to Thanksgiving, Mark called me again. Voice flat, exhausted. It's still happening. She's careful now, but I have proof. He forwarded me a folder, screenshots, locations, even a few blurry photos of Sarah and Jake walking into the same hotel together last month. He didn't ask me to do anything. He just said, I think I'm done pretending. That's when the plan formed. Not a screaming match, not a public humiliation, just the truth, delivered at the one time of year when our entire family is trapped together with nowhere to run. So there we were, turkey getting cold, candles flickering, Sarah's smirk fading as I began. I started gentle. Remember Alex, Sarah, senior year? She rolled her eyes. God, are we really bringing up high school? Yes, I said. Because you took him the week after I told you I was going to ask him to prom, and you knew exactly what you were doing. A few awkward laughs around the table. Mom tried to shush me. I kept going. And Jake, you told him I was too career-focused to ever make him happy. Then you dated him behind my back for 2 years, while I thought he'd just lost interest. Sarah's face went white. That's ancient history. Is it? I pulled out my phone, opened the folder Mark had sent, and slid it across the table so everyone could see the time-stamped photos, the text threads, the lies laid out in black and white. Mark spoke for the first time all night, voice quiet but firm. I've known for years, Sarah. I stayed for the kids, but I'm done staying quiet. Our parents looked like they'd been punched in the stomach. My aunt whispered, Oh my God. The kids had already been sent to the living room to watch a movie, thank goodness. Sarah tried every card. Tears, anger, deflection. You're jealous. You've always been jealous because I have a family and you don't. That's when I smiled, small and real. No, Sarah. I'm single because after watching you lie and cheat and steal every single good thing that ever came near me, I decided I'd rather be alone than ever let someone that close again. Congratulations. You won. The silence that followed was the loudest thing I've ever heard. Sarah stood up so fast her chair fell backward. She ran to the bathroom crying. Mom followed her. Dad just stared at the tablecloth like it had betrayed him too. Mark looked at me and mouthed, Thank you. The rest of the night was messy. There were tears, raised voices, long stretches of silence. Sarah came back eventually, eyes swollen, and said, I'm sorry, over and over, but the words felt small against years of damage. We didn't fix everything in one evening. Of course we didn't. Mark moved out 2 weeks later. They started counseling, separate and together. Sarah ended things with Jake for good this time it stuck, maybe because she finally saw the cost. I went home that night, sat on my couch with a glass of wine, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel hollow. I felt free. Here's the funny part. 6 months later, I met someone. His name is Ryan. He's kind, patient, has zero connection to my past drama. When I told him this whole story on our third date, he didn't run. He just took my hand and said, I'm glad you waited for someone who deserves you. Sarah and I are working on it. We talk maybe once a month. She's in therapy. She sent me a letter that actually made me cry. Not because it erased anything, but because for the first time it felt like she saw me, really saw me. And Thanksgiving this year, we're doing it small. Just my parents, me and Ryan. Sarah and the kids are coming for dessert. No big speeches planned, no hidden bombs. Sometimes the best revenge isn't loud. It isn't cruel. It's just refusing to carry someone else's lies anymore. It's laying the truth on the table like an extra plate and letting everyone finally see what's been served all along. If you're watching this and you've been holding on to years of hurt because they're family or it was a long time ago, I promise you, there's peace on the other side of speaking up. Not the kind of peace that pretends everything's perfect, but the kind that lets you breathe deep for the first time in forever. Because the second you stop protecting their story at the cost of your own, you get to start writing the next chapter yourself. And trust me, that chapter can be beautiful.